Good afternoon. Okay, sorry. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Bukola Olutola from School of Engineering, Science and Health, the Public Health Division of IIEMSA, South Africa. So this afternoon, I'll be presenting backyard vegetable garden, or backyard garden in South Africa, a solution to malnutrition. This is the outline of my study. Okay, so for nutrition, a good nutrition is essential towards the physical, emotional, and mental development of community members. It is important that everybody should have a good nutrition, and there is also malnutrition. That is something that is not good. It's like we are saying, deficient nutrition. And this refers to deficiencies or excesses in nutrient intake. And this is the definition according to the WHO. And it has been a big problem all over the world, especially in Africa, where malnutrition is actually a very big thing. And it can consist of undernutrition and overnutrition, if I may put it like that. Overnutrition can be in form of overweight and obesity, as well as diet-related non-communicable diseases, such as your type 2 diabetes. So when it comes to good nutrition, everybody has to be on board. Malnutrition is not good for anyone, for any country. And in order to look at this, different studies have looked at the ways to curb malnutrition. One of the ways is backyard garden, as well as community garden. I mean, backyard garden from the word, having a garden, it might be a small one in your backyard, at the back of your house, in your community, in your compound. Or community garden, which can be a type of gardening where everybody in the community will contribute, and we have like a small garden where everybody can cultivate, everybody can get food, harvest food, in order to curb malnutrition. So having a backyard garden, especially among the low socioeconomic group, can address the issue of malnutrition. As we all know, instead of buying certain food from the market, if you have your backyard garden, vegetables, in your compound, you can address malnutrition. So therefore, this paper, or this study, sought to determine the importance of backyard garden in curbing malnutrition or hunger in South African households. The data I used for this study was the 2022 South African General Household Survey conducted by the Statistics South Africa. General Household Surveys data that the Statistics South Africa collects every year. There is already 2023. I'm sure they're already in the process of 2024. And it has two types. There is the household one and also the person one. So for the household data, the unit of analysis is household. For the person data, the unit of analysis will be individual. So for my study, I used household data. So the unit of my analysis will be household. For short, GHS, that's South African General Household Survey, is a nationally representative data set. That means it represents the whole of South Africa. So whatever I get, whatever results from this study actually represents South Africa. And for the household, the target population included all private households in South Africa and also residents in workers' hostels in all the 9 provinces of South Africa. So for my data analysis, I did both the descriptive and inferential statistics in order for me to explore the factors associated with having a backyard garden in South Africa. And for the analysis, I used Stata, the software used was Stata version 18, and all statistical significance was set as p less than 0.05. So let's go to the results. There were 19,351 households in the data. 42.2% of them were headed by females, by women. So the remaining were headed by males. And more than 11%, equivalent of 2,860 of these households, that means of the 19,351 households, had a backyard garden. You can see it's so small. I mean, only 11%. And only 0.1% of the households were part of a community garden. That is so small. And more households where the heads of the, more households where the females, that means women, were heads of household, had backyard gardens compared to those houses headed by males. So we can say that, okay, probably female head of households or households where females are the heads, they are more likely, to have backyard gardens. So this is shown in the table, also the next bullet. So let's look at this table. So this is what I said just now. Now for race, ethnicity of head of household. In South Africa, there are 4 racial groups. We have the Black Africans, the colored, the Indian or Asian, and the whites. The Africans, as at 2022, when this data was collected, they had the highest prevalence or highest proportion of households with backyard garden. Even then, it was only 13.2%, which was also quite small, followed by the white. Then the age of the head of household, I mean, is also important. Those in the 65-year-old and above were the ones who had the highest backyard gardens, and it was 21.8, followed by 55 to 64-year age groups. Now, if you look at the 18 to 24 and 25 to 34-year age groups, those groups are not actually, it's like they are more or less not, do not have backyard gardens. And these are the, we'll say these are the working group, the people that are working. Now, if you look at the child-headed households, 14 to 17-year-olds, yeah, only 11.2% of households in that age group had a backyard garden. Now, to continue, education also played an important part. Unfortunately, those who had no education were the ones having backyard garden, followed by those who had only grade R to 11. That means, if I say those, that means the head of households who had no education or who had grade R to 11 education as the highest level of education. Those were the people with backyard garden, only 19.2% and 16.7%. Those with grade 12, they were the smallest, only 9.7% of them had backyard garden. In terms of marital status, the divorced are the highest compared to the other groups. That means the married and those who were single and never married. Now, I deliberately put the remaining 3 in green because it's all about if they were worried. The first one worried about food in the last 12 months. Now, that is the question that was asked was that during the last 12 months, was there a time when you or others in your household were worried about not having enough food to eat because of a lack of money or other resources? If you look at those who said yes, more of them had backyard garden when you compare to those who who said no. That means if people were worried about not having food, there is a likelihood of them having backyard garden. So once somebody is worried about not having food, that means something has to be done. So the next one is inability to eat healthy or nutritious food because of lack of money or other resources. Those who said they were unable to eat as a result of this, they were also, if you look at the percentage, 17.4, they were more likely compared to those who said no. So the last one was having any child in the family in the past 12 months go hungry because there wasn't enough food. Sorry, this is too low. Those who never had any child in the family that went hungry in the past 12 months, they were, if you look at it, 17.2% of them. It's still small, but they were the highest in this group. So imagine those who never worried. They had, those who never had any child go hungry. They had more backyard garden. They were more likely to have backyard garden compared to those who said always. So something is wrong with those who always had children go hungry. That means, having a backyard garden will be important in this case. So these are just the proportions. Now, after controlling for all confounders, all things that could affect the association, I came up with this last factors. So in the real sense of this analysis or this study, only these factors were actually associated with having a backyard garden. Education of the head of household, having any child in the family in the past 12 months go hungry because there wasn't enough food, very important. Inability to eat healthy or nutritious food because of lack of resources in last 12 months, and also people in the household who ate only a few kind of food because of lack of money or resources. So these characteristics or these factors were the main factors associated with it. For me, the most important will be for children, because we all know that if a child is malnourished, it's going to affect his or her adulthood. So if those who are saying that they always had children in their household going hungry in the past 12 months, if they were not likely to have a backyard garden compared to those who never, then there must be something. So in conclusion for me, is that government should look into this. Why are children getting hungry? Hungry? Why do we have a household where you always have children going hungry? And we're talking about backyard garden. So for my own conclusion, for the conclusion of this study, or what I concluded in the study, is that backyard garden should be introduced. People should be educated, and their awareness should be made for families, especially poor families, to encourage them to have backyard gardens. If government has to produce seeds, for them, teach them how to do all those small farmings or small gardens, then it will be very, very good. It will go a long way for children not to go hungry in South Africa. So that's the end of my study. Thank you.